Good afternoon, we're back here at TB. I've got the 20th century Ulu knife reinvented. And I'm sanding it down now, getting it prepared for the rest of it. For its varnishing, staining and varnishing there. Then I'm fixing to do this. I'm going to sand her off a little. Left country style and rustic on purpose. If I'd have wanted neat or a fancier square, I'd have went down to Lumberyards and bought a board that was already cut out for it. But you'd have had to have an inch of wood, 3/4 thick to start out with. And you had to take your saw and split it straight down. If you get it off crooked too much, like I did almost, as you can see right here, I had enough meat left or wood on this side to hold it yet, but I would have preferred it been a little more square. But if you'll notice, this board is round here and more sunk in this way. It's kind of bowled round. Not much I can do about that. That's the way it's split out of the firewood, basically. You can see the oak firewood that I cut down to invent a handle out of it, make a handle for this 20th century Ulu knife. Ulu style. I'd like to say I'll probably call it native Alaskan blade, or something like that. So I ain't getting into their patents. I don't want to hear, oh, you stole my patent, or some crap like that. I didn't steal anything. First of all, their handles ain't even made like mine. They're made out of the same steel or anything. But I'm going to use it myself. I ain't going to sell it no how. Well, I might make one for somebody that orders one from me and wants a Ulu knife. They're pretty nice. I made this one fairly quick. Today, last night, I've probably got about 4 or 5 hours to the point I'm at now. And I may decide to wait and build a fire out there on the smoker this evening and dry this wood a little more. You see how that's sap? It's a little green yet. It's got a little bit of sap still coming through. I can do this, antique this wood, and not stain it. I'll just antique it, like I did Carl's knife, my brother-in-law's. See his little handle right there? It's really, all I did was put the polyethylene on it to seal it and everything so that it would last longer and not rot on it. And this will turn a lot of water in the weather or in the kitchen either way. Like I did Elaine's knife. Hers is up the house. But this is a 20th century survival knife. It's a 6-inch blade, except that it's made out of 3/8 steel. And I call it the Wave Runner because of the way that I sharpened that blade. If you'll look at it, it looks like waves coming up there. So I call it the 20th century survival Wave Runner. And it's just as good as the one I've got, except mine's a full 1/4-inch steel. I just couldn't get no more 1/4-inch steel. Yet I haven't. When I do, I'll make heavy one. Or if a customer orders 1/4-inch steel, I'll go down and get it. But they'll have to pay for the 1/4-inch steel. And a 3-foot piece of 1/4-inch steel will cost you about $17. $16, $17 at a local Atwoods. It's the only place we got in town that I know of that sells steel. Now, I get a lot of my stuff secondhand, like lawnmower blades and stuff to make out of, but sometimes I can't get but this 3/16. All that needs sanding too. I'm gonna have to. That's why I'd like to have a belt sander and if I had a belt sander and a bandsaw, I could cut out some pretty neat looking handles out of this wood, although I don't do too bad with the hand tools I have. Consider. trying to sand that down a little bit and make it a little more comfy in there so it don't stick in the hand or get a splinter in the hand. Nobody wants to get splinters in the hand. That's why I'm sanding down on it, trying to make it a little better project. Normally in the bush, I wouldn't have went to all this trouble. I wouldn't have had no way to do it anyway. And I wouldn't have been able to probably even make a ulu knife like this on a counter. You got to have a way to drill those holes through the steel, and you don't have that out there. Now, if you got a forge, you can take a forge and heat the metal up until it's cherry red, soften it up. You can take a punch if you got a way to punch a hole through it, and that's where the preacher hole goes on a anvil, which is nice. The preacher hole is just a place to stick your awl, or whatever. Some people back in the day called it an awl, or a punch, is basically what we're talking about. And you can bend the punch over and you can make honeycomb arrows, as I call them, that wrap around arrowhead that go on your arrow. All you have to do is make sure that it fits your arrowhead. And you can cut you out some arrowheads, and you can make those arrowheads wrap around and fit your arrows if you don't have a way to buy that or get the threaded type like we have at Walmart and other places. You won't always be able to get that. Yep, polishing right up. Polish the steel a little more. I do believe I got that thing down in there. This thing got a little bit rusty laying under the sink for about a year. Wasn't using it, and I made this thing cut it out and made two ulu knives. Made one for my cousin Melinda, and Melinda, but her handle's made out of plywood, so it ain't going to probably last as long as this one. And I didn't varnish it or anything, I just gave it to her. But she'll probably be wanting me to make her handle like this when she sees this. I don't really think she's going to like her handle when she sees mine, how I've improved it. At least now, I've got a wheel on here, but I've got to find that lock for that so it can lock the cap back on. Let's see what kind of lock it is. Yep, it's a locking cap. And I don't think I carried it out. It's probably here in the floor. I'll have to look for it. Or on the table here. Hopefully I'll find that lock cap, because that's very important. Without it, I can't put the wheel back on. And might not be able to anyhow. I may have to drill a hole through that bar on my air compressor back behind me I'm talking about. If I don't find that cap, maybe just have to put a pin through it. Put a washer behind it and a pin, and that'll hold that lawnmower wheel on there. See, I blew my dadgum wheel all to pieces the other day. When I was trying to air it up, it blew up on me. The doggone tire was dry rotted, and so was the tube, I guess, got pinched or something. But when I slapped the air to it off that air compressor, or put too much air to it, and it nailed me. Well, it's got to be here. I don't believe I'll throw it away. I wouldn't have thrown my locking cap away. I just don't know where I put it. And I'm sure I would have laid it right here on this table. So it may have just vibrated and fell off or something. Because I've been cutting, fitting, and rasping and working here. There's another project for another day. I'm going to build a blower for my other forge, new forge I built. It's much bigger, and it's for the purpose of making swords and machetes and axes, bigger tools. Now I'm going to keep my little brake drum forge for my small work, but I'm thinking I'm going to use the